Bitches. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Hello, everyone. And tonight is Tea Time is dropping the new edition, first time on air with you guys on TikTok, Celebrity News. Enter into the chat room and let's talk about it. Grab your favorite drinks, whether it be a water, a hot tea, coffee, Kool-Aid, soda, or an adult beverage. Grab your snacks too. We're going to be here for a while. It's tea time. It's tea time. It's tea time. Waiting for all of you to catch on to what's going on. I just started a video letting you guys know what's going on tonight. I realized that I've been giving TikTok a little bit too much of my time. So I wanted to only do live on the weekends of whatever day that I choose. Hello, Josh. It's tea time. Celebrity News. The first edition of Celebrity News in tea time here on TikTok with your girl, The Voice. And the topic of this evening is going to be Celebrity News / R. Kelly. Oh my gosh. So we're not really going to focus on him per se, but we will be talking about the issues that surround his being locked up. Hi, Carol. Hi, Betty. Hi, Kyle. Hello, everybody. Is anyone going to come by and sit down and chat with The Voice about this celebrity news topic of discussion here in Tea Time on tonight? Tonight, we're going to be discussing the fact that I don't get why people are so fixated on speaking badly about the young women that chose to have a relationship with R. Kelly. And for just for any sake, we can just say we're not really going to speak on his name really too much. I don't know how that goes with TikTok, but let's just speak on the fact that when young girls, okay, adolescents, choose an older man to be with consensually, they are still in a childlike mindset, whereas we would then focus, or we should be focusing our attention on the grown man that is intertwining with these young adults. I've seen too much conversation from the so-called supporters of R. Kelly that are bashing these young women. And hey, everybody. Hi, Shalon Williams. That's my maiden last name. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Jose. Hello to everybody that is stopping by. This is Tea Time, where we talk about it all. The uncomfortable conversations that people have difficulty speaking about. Tonight is our first edition, first live of It's Tea Time Celebrity News, where we will be talking about the issues surrounding R. Kelly, but in all respect, we don't even need to mention his name, because at the end of the day, this is happening so commonly, and people are failing to realize that an adolescent, whether it be a woman or a man, does not have the mental capacity to make the right decisions in a relationship. Now, they might have the knowledge about sex, so to speak, because we all say as we get older, sex becomes better because we are more in tune with ourselves. We know more about our bodies, and we know a lot more about sex. So with that being said, a young girl at 15 or 16 or 17 or 18 dating a 30-year-old is not in the mental capacity, or is not on the mental capacity level of which a grown woman of the age 30 or older, or even 25 or older, would be in order to make better decisions, or right decisions, or decisions that make sense um, toward the relationship or in the relationship. So these are the things that I want to talk about. Hi, Copper. Hi to everyone. So I'm not going to talk to myself. There seems not to be anyone here. But if you are here, raise your hand, say hello, say hi, and tell me what you would like for me to call you while we are in here on the chat line in tea time, having this uncomfortable conversation about young girls dating older men. And also, if you don't care to stick by, you can always just go and like and support my live on tonight. But again, I will not be talking to myself, so I see that the passing through has slowed down. Hello, Magdalene. I love that name, by the way. We're talking about young girls dating older men, and how right now people who are supporting R. Kelly are like bashing these young women about their choices to be consensual, to have consensual sex or relations with an older dude. And my viewpoint is, even though they are being consensual, and they are wanting these relationships with these older men, the focus should be on the older men that should know better, and not to just be having these relationships. Because at the end of the day, as a grown woman, as a grown person, we know that in the end result, the only thing that the older man wants from that younger female is sex. I've never known anyone that was an older man that said, "Oh, I'm in love with this younger female, and I'm in love with her brain." Okay? Hello, Manda. We are talking about young women, young girls, young teenagers dating older men, and who should be the blame. Should we be bashing and talking bad about our young females who are probably just looking for a father figure in these men, who are looking for love in all the wrong places, who are being master manipulated by these men, who are probably just, even if there's no one forcing them, which most of the time nobody's forcing them, but at the end of the day, they're not in a space, they're not capable of making an adult decision. And so the decision that they make based off of sex or money or protection is not the right decision that they need to be making. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the older man is only truly looking for sex, and may not be mentally um, compatible with an older woman, because the older woman gonna see their bullshit. Okay. So again, in tea time, I encourage everyone to come in with open minds, grab your favorite drink, grab a snack, sit down, and let's conversate. Let's have a conversation. If anyone is there, you can comment now, because it seems like that TikTok will have a delay in who has really joined. Ice cream, how are you? Tonight's discussion is based off of young women dating older men, and do they have the mental capacity level to be in such relationships with these older men? And who do we blame, or who do we look to be the more responsible person to decline the relationship because of the age of said woman or teen or adolescent? That's what we're talking about. If someone is out there, please raise your hand, give me some commentary so we can start this conversation. I started the conversation somewhat. I've given the explanation on what we're talking about. I have given you a guide pretty much to what we're going to be talking about and my views of the situation thus far. But in order for me to have a conversation, I need someone else to be in communication with. So if you're out there, say something, wave, tell me your name, or say hi, or give me your thoughts on what has been said from me, the voice, thus far. And also know that here in Teatime, everything that we speak about stays in Teatime. We're loving, encouraging family. I have a few members, a few followers that we have become family in Teatime. We talk about a lot of different things. We are encouraging to each other. We motivate each other. Only good vibes. But we talk about the certain conversations that need to be talked about. Hello, Veronica. It's tea time. We're talking about young women dating older men, and who should we focus the responsibility onto. Who do we need to hold accountable for what I believe to be not the right situation? Even though these relationships sometimes are consensual, it still is a young girl who does not have the mental capacity level to make the appropriate decisions in a relationship with a grown person who has been on the earth 20 more years longer than them. So I'm gonna give it to about 11 o'clock before I log out, because if I'm gonna have this conversation, I need my peoples to come on up in here and have this conversation with me. And yes, I have my shades on because that light, if y'all can see the reflection of the ring light, was very bright. It's Friday night. Y'all gotta work or something? It's tea time over here. Oh, it's not that bad. Hello, hello, hello. It's tea time. The topic of discussion tonight is young girls dating older men. Who do we find to be the person who should be, like not blamed, but should be responsible for this kind of relationship? Like, who do we look at as the person that is wrong? Hello, everyone. Hey, Zay. It's three people. So if you're going to stick around, just tell me right now, what are your thoughts on the topic of discussion tonight? I've got this topic of discussion from the R. Kelly situation, that he has a lot of supporters who have been bashing these young women. When I just really feel as though, no matter what a young adolescents are between the age of 10 and 19, um, choose to do with their bodies, or choose to do in relationships, at the end of the day, the grown-up is the one who should bear the responsibility of turning away these relationships, because a child or a teenager does not have the mental capacity level to be able to make the appropriate decisions in a relationship with a grown-up. Now, yes, it's happened for so many years. We have in so many different cultures. The daughter is married off at 14. But let's just think about it. Are these if we can just take these young girls, have a conversation with them, or ask them at least just one or two questions? Is this person that you're going to be forced to marry, do you know this person? Do you love this person? Do you actually really want to be with this person? I'm pretty sure, and I've seen it before, they don't. But they have to do what is told of them to do, and it's tradition, and it's learned behavior in their religion, or in their culture. And so these things have been done for centuries. But does it make it right? Women have fought for their rights for so long, and so I think that at some point now we're being punished for some of the decisions that we wanted to be able to make independently. And so now the young girls that are making poor decisions, we're basically getting lashed at, saying, oh, well, she chose to be in a relationship, so it's okay. But it's not okay for the adult in the relationship to want to be in a relationship, to be okay in a relationship with a child. Because at the end of the day, there is manipulation going on, because this child, this teenager, is not in a mental space that the adult is in to be able to make the appropriate decisions. Someone smarter than you or older than you or wiser than you will always be able to one up you. Oh, you didn't miss anything. The topic of the discussion this evening, my love, is who is in the wrong, if you believe that if there is any wrong, when it comes to adolescent, which is the ages from 10 to 19, is in a relationship with a grown man or a grown woman, uh, particularly in 25 and older. Or I won't say 25, I'll say 30 and older. Do you think it is appropriate for a 30 and over person to date a young adolescent? Because in my opinion, I don't. However, I will be the first to say, because I'm always the first to say and speak on my experience if I have, or my opinion, or I will Google facts of the topic in order to argue my defense. In my opinion, because I met my husband, I was 15 and he was 25. Now, I can't say our situation is much, much different, but I will tell you this. My family met him. He always looked very, very young. I've always been very, very, very mature for my age. But we are married. We have been together for 22 years. I think it's a slight difference, but then again, I know that someone would say otherwise, and that is fine. The choice was mine. However, was I in a place to make the right decisions? No, because if I look back over my life, I know that there's some decisions that I made that were not the right decisions based on my mentality level and the growth of my brain at that time. And he always had the upper hand in some situations because he was older and more wiser than I was in certain areas of life. Today, me being 37 and him being 47, I am more mature than he is, and that was another reason why we clicked while I was younger, because he happened not to be a man that was that mature and have the all of the tools mentally, physically, emotionally, or whatever to probably date older women of his of his age. But the fact still remains, older men or women should not be in a relationship with children or teens. The age range is too general. Yeah, it is too general, but I Googled it yesterday because I was watching something. A 19-year-old with a 25-year-old is fine. Yeah, it is, but that's why I said 30 and up. That's why I changed that, because I'm like, no, 30 and up. Because I believe, we can, what I will say is that I personally, in my opinion, would suggest that each situation be categorized differently and looked into to make a certain decision. However, when it comes down to, because I got this conversation from the R. Kelly situation, and not in my defense, but in my opinion, in his defense, what he was doing, from what we know, and for how long he has been doing it since Aaliyah, that we know, he seems to have a pattern with young women, and he seems to use manipulation in order to get them to do what he wants them to do or to think the way he wants them to think, and et cetera, et cetera. He had his wife, which was a grown woman, that we know of, and he had other few grown women situations. But if we think about it, those women were able to recognize after some time that someone right. Now, the young girls that he has manipulated over time, in my opinion, have had difficulties um, deciphering, okay, the difference, or no, deciphering whether they were being manipulated, you know what I'm saying, versus being in a relationship with somebody who just had issues. Okay, and also, unfortunately, what I do recognize is that he was abused, and they say that abused people do abuse other people. That's a whole nother story in itself. I believe that he needs help more than anything, because this mental sickness or mental issue that he has with his upbringing and problem that he had of his own is something that he needs to deal with on his own. Hello, simply impressed. So I do believe that there's different layers to this situation. But what I wanted to just pull out of the situation was the conversation of, do you think it's appropriate for a young adolescent to date an older man? And do we think that the older adult in the relationship should be held accountable to their actions to a certain extent? Do you understand what I'm saying? So let's talk about it. What else do you have to say about it? Because I always have my opinions, but I also want to know you guys' views, because that's what makes a conversation. Can't conversate by myself. I can definitely answer questions and go off of what you have to say. So, but until I can see more and more and more things that I can respond to, once I'm finished responding, I really don't have much more to say, especially if there's no one present in the tea time conversation. Okay? And again, it's tea time, and this is the new edition, the first time airing on TikTok with me, the voice of celebrity news. Celebrity news, the topic of R. Kelly and the young women and his supporters who are bashing all of these young women, saying they knew what they was doing, they knew what they wanted, and like basically he's off the hook. And I don't believe that that's correct. Listen, we can definitely say there's some young fast girls who get themselves into situations that they have no business being in. That being said, we also have to look at the adult who was in this relationship with this young fast girl, and what were you looking for? What did you expect to get out of this relationship with a young person? It most likely is just sex. And being able to be in a certain place of control with this younger person because you are wiser and more mature. So let's talk about it. To the one viewer that I have, would you like to comment on what we have or what I have already mentioned, or have your own opinion on what you think about these kind of situations? And I'm the first one to say that not all situations are the same. There are some men who are just not, they may be older, but they are not wiser. They are not in a, you know, mental capacity level of power, or trying to be more powerful then is a small amount of those men. We have people who have mental diseases. We have a lot of people who have developmental issues where they're not as mature as their age would say they should be. So there are different dynamics to this situation and conversation. However, for the most part, we do know that a lot of men like to date younger women. But why? They always say they want little arm candy, oh, she like this and she like that. And we also know that older women, when we are not as in shape as we were when we were younger, some men, they want things more younger and fresher, as they would say. So let's talk about it. What are your thoughts? Does anyone have an opinion on this current topic that we are to discuss here in Tea Time? Again, I can't have the conversation by myself, so I'm waiting for someone to type up something if you are here and you are in the building. Or is this conversation too uncomfortable? Well, I don't see nobody, so by the time I finish my food and my drink, I'm going to take it down. Because I see it's Friday. Hello, how are you? It's tea time. The discussion of this evening is, hey lady, how are you? The discussion of tonight is, what are your thoughts on young women, young adolescents, dating older men? And what do you think about the adult in the situation? Do you feel like they should be held accountable or responsible for the choice to date a younger person? Do you and I'm getting the conversation from the R. Kelly situation because he has a set of he has a set of followers and supporters who are now bashing these young women, saying that they're fast tail girls, and that could be true, and that they knew what they were doing, and this, that, and the third, and that all may be true. But I feel as though, even with that, with me agreeing with that, my thing is, at the end of the day, he is the adult. So we need to hold him accountable for having these relationships with these young people, because no one, uh, as an adolescent, is in a mental capacity level state of mind where they can make the right choices, the appropriate choices in a relationship with an adult. So at the end of the day, what is the adult looking for in this young child's what are you what are you looking for in this young child? Most of the time we know it's just sex. So are you manipulating this person to get what you want and need from them, but you know they are not in a place mentally to make the right decisions per the relationship. All they saw was money and his lifestyle. Yes, and that might be true. And I get that. I get that. I totally get that. I overstand, right? But it's like, okay, even with that, it doesn't give him the right to say, okay, so here's my money and my lifestyle. I want you on my team. Because the problem is with, I feel like, society is that we can say that about young girls, but we never hold the adults accountable. or sometimes we do hold adults accountable. But in this situation, he has a whole set of supporters who are just bashing these young girls, like, oh, they're just like excluding him from any responsibility or any accountability, which makes me like sick to my stomach. And I will say this: I am the first person to speak about experience first, if I have any. Right, right. Exactly. Like, let's just think about his history with the young girls. Okay, you went off and married a young girl named Aaliyah. God bless her soul. Without her parents' approval. I saw a video of them both on a talk show. He lied about the whole situation. You know, this, that, and the third. He said they wasn't married. They was married. This, that, and the third. If you feel as though you're right and you're not ashamed because you feel like you're right, then you shouldn't be lying. And that's with any situation in the world, right? On top of it, then after that, then it was peeing on the little girl. And look, what you do in your bedroom is your business. But when you're doing it with a child, and they're only doing it because they might need money. And so let me backtrack with this. So my thing is, a lot of these young girls who make these decisions to be in relationships with these men, they're doing it for money because they didn't grow up with the money. They're doing it because they're looking for a father figure that they didn't have. They're doing it because they want to be cute, they want to be fly. Oh my God, this is R. Kelly. They're not doing it because they're in love. So let me speak on my experience. I was 15 when I met my husband. I lied about my age. I was used to lying about my age, but really the crazy thing is I didn't even mean to lie about my age, but I was so used to doing it because when I met him, he looked so young. I was like, oh, I can tell him my real age because he looked like he ain't like 19. He looked like he was like 18, 19. So I was 16. So I'm like, okay, I could just tell him my real age. But I was so used to lying about my age. I messed up and said the wrong age that I was always lying and saying that I was. Okay. But I've been with him for 20 years, 22 years. Now, that's not to say, oh, that just overrides all of the wrong in the situation. However, I will tell you this. My family, my whole entire family, grandmothers, everybody met him. And he always looked so young, even still to this day. He'd be 50 years old soon, and he looks young, right? But what happened was everybody that met him, they read him. My family, all of them went to college, this and the third, da, 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 da. Not to say that he didn't. But, so, who's that? High life. So basically they read him, they talked to him, and he was not on the mental capacity level of, you know, of someone who would be trying to take advantage of. Do you understand what I'm saying? He like even now that I'm 37, he's 47. I have surpassed him mentally. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. I'm not putting him down. It's just life. It's what happens. You're gonna have some people who are, in the world where you understand what I'm saying. So you're gonna have some people in the world who are developmentally delayed, who have ADHD, or who have autism, or who have different mental issues where they might not be on the level that their age says that they should be, and that's a small portion, right? And I'm kind of putting my husband in that portion. I promise you, because it's still issues there. And I'd be like, you need to pay attention. You need to listen. You don't listen, that's why you don't know, type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I'm working with him, and he's worked it, and we work. For me, and I know this is a little off topic, but for me, I always needed to be in a relationship. Like I just always wanted to be in a relationship where I could kind of control a bit. I don't like being in relationships, like I've been abused, and I've been through all these type of things where I don't like being in relationships where I feel like the man is more superior. And I'm not saying that he's not superior, but I have the choice in order to put him in that position. My mother always saying, "Girl, why you still wearing the pants? Let him wear the pants." No, he wears capris. I wear the pants. Sometimes he wears shorts. He don't act right. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? So that's my situation. But moving back to, and I'm like, again, I'm not justifying anything, because we can just say he was wrong and we shouldn't be and everything. But I just believe in my situation it works, and it is what it is. And I'm not saying that no other situation can't work, but we're talking about a man who was a habitual rather, excuse my French, excuse my wrong vocabulary. He is a habitual abuser, mental abuser. Even his wife, he put through that crap. And the fortunate thing for the older women that he did date, they got out a little quicker, or they got out after they realized. But these younger girls, their parents had to be trying to, you know what I'm saying, get them and pull them from the situation, because they like, girl, you don't even see what the hell's going on. And everybody who's watched any of the documentaries, whether they were 100% right or wrong, and just knowing the person that he is, listening to his music, seeing the situations that he has gotten himself into, we can see that this man has an issue. And upon finding out that he was abused himself, we also know that people who abuse will abuse other people. So he needs a lot of help. He needs a lot of assistance. This is the reasons why he's making these decisions. However, at the end of the day, to bash all of these young women and say it was all about money and it was okay, yeah, how many we do that shit on a regular. I don't do it. I'm just saying, us as women, we do this shit on a regular every day. Some women is not even trying to be with a man who ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? Wrong is definitely freaking wrong. And the sad part about his supporters is that it's a lot of black young women. And I mean, and I say that because he's black and it's a lot of black women. But who cares about color? Who cares about all of that? We are women, and we all go through the same thing, no matter what our color is, no matter what our race is, cultural background, or ethnicity. However, it's like, but you want to sit there and say like you don't understand why these girls made these decisions, whether they had a mother and a father in the household or not. Some men are in their household and they're not present. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And the fact and then what makes it so crazy is that, let's just be real. Here's his track record. The homies that was holding him down, the men that he was working with, spoke up. And let's break this down. When you're younger men, I know they probably was looking at it like, oh, he got all the young shorties up in there, all the little young hoes up in here. He getting that. But then they got older. They got wiser. They had daughters. They started to live. And they realized, damn, this nigga really fucked up. So they started to talk about these situations like, you know, well, yeah, I was there. You know, I didn't really think about it, think nothing too much about it back then, because that's just what we were doing. Exactly. It became, they became disgusted. Because guess what? This is the one thing about men in society, the men in the world. They teach themselves. They try to teach themselves, whether it be the rules of the street, the rules of what it got, MOB, money over bitches, the rules of men and their secrets, and just having all these women, and they teach themselves, and it's always the knucklehead at the top of the freaking line that's teaching them these things, because they've been hurt, or their mama ain't do right by them, or they don't love their mama, they don't respect their mama, or their mama was on drugs, their mama ain't even raised them. You know what I'm saying? They have been hurt. So then what they do, when we talked about hurt people, hurt people, you know what I'm saying? What they do is they come up with this this rule of living, and they've taught each other all of these wrong ways of living, and they're living in the cycle of wrongness. Exactly. And some of them have daughters and they still don't care. But for the majority, we know once they have daughters, and then they're like, oh, hell no. And then they start thinking about all of the shit that they done did when they was younger. Okay? And so it's so sad that people are supporting his actions instead of saying, you know what, he needs help. Let's just get him help. Just mind your business on the other level and trying to make these young girls feel bad, because this is another reason why young girls don't speak up when they're being raped, or they being molested, or they're being abused. This is why they don't speak up, because they're getting so much of a mixed idea about their place in the situation. And I'm not saying everybody is a victim. I'm not a victim in my relationship. I promise you I'm not. Now, maybe in the beginning it should not have happened, because there are some choices that I know I could have made better had I been more knowledgeable or mature to be able to make. I tell my husband that all the time. But I also am a redeemed woman at this point, and I know what I won't deal with and what I, you know what I'm saying, won't allow, opposed to what I did. But had I known better then, I probably wouldn't have to go through the things that I had to go through. Or, you understand what I'm saying? Right, 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 right. And it's like, it's just so sad that we are in a place today where, as women, nonetheless, to try to diminish the character of a young girl, an adolescent, nonetheless, an adolescent's character, but don't have no qualms about what the man in the relationship did, a 30-something-year-old man, and knowing his history. If he had no history, no issues with women, then I could say, you know what, I need to see this to the end. I'm not going to take sides. I'm just going to listen to the story. But this man has been a certain way for so many years. And the ultimate problem is, and I won't just say country people, but it seems that way, but I'm pretty sure is a multitude of people across the world who are so set on his music being inspirational in their lives, their weddings, their funerals, their ups and their downs, that they want to hold on to his music so bad that they want to give him a pass on what he has done. And that is not cool. Okay? Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They become traumatized. They're going to feel as though what they think, the decisions that they make, and how they do things will always be scrutinized and criticized by the masses in a negative way. Instead of teaching them and talking to them, okay? And then they be like, oh, well, they grew up in a two-parent household. What that got to do with the price of butter? Yes, two minds should be greater than one, but don't get it mistaken that two parents can't be fucking up. Okay? Because let me tell you something. I get on my husband all the time. I be teaching my son football, teaching him about girls. I be teaching him about all this stuff. And I go, let me tell you something. What I'm not finna keep on doing is laying up in the bed with a man who ain't helping me with a child. Okay, yeah, you might provide. You giving him money. You taking him to go get sneakers, or you taking him to go to get clothes, or you sometimes take him to the gym. No, I need you to be a little bit more present than that, a little bit more consistent than that. I need you to teach him about these streets, teach him about the stuff that men are supposed to talk about. Oh, but if you don't, best believe I will. If I got the Google shit, I will. But that's just to show you, just because you're a two-parent home, don't mean everything is perfect. Okay? Because some men are in the home, but they're only present. They ain't doing shit. Okay? Right. He still needs guidance. Exactly. Yep. Yes. Okay? Hey, Raven Star. Yes. Okay? So the discussion tonight is, It's based off of the R. Kelly situation that's going on right now, and his supporters who are bashing the young women that were in relationship with him. And my opinion is that we can talk about their wrongs, okay? Because some of us young women are very mature, which I spoke about me being mature and dating my husband at 15 and he was 25. You know, we have been together for 22 years. Doesn't justify the situation in the beginning. However, my husband is not as mature as I am. But, you know, at the end of the day, we have to hold the adult accountable when it is necessary. And in this case, it is totally necessary. He is in jail. He's not just in jail because he was just dating young girls. He was in jail because he was doing a lot more than just dating them. He was entrapping them. He was keeping them from their parents. So here's the thing. Okay, what you said. There are a lot of people living together wanting divorces. Exactly. And going through turmoil in their homes. So that doesn't make a young person or a child, you know, more fortunate than another child, you know, if they're going through some crap, okay, in the household. And no one's really present. Nobody's really teaching them anything because one of the supporters of R. Kelly said, "Oh, I know, you know, one girl, she grew up with a mother that was a deaconess and a father that was a minister. You know, they had to taught her about this and the third." How do you know that? Who you are does not determine what you know, or your status does not determine what you know. Hey lady, I've been enjoying this. I need to go. Have a beautiful evening. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you so much for stopping by. You know? So it's just like we gotta make sure that we are holding people that need to be held accountable. We need to hold them accountable for their actions. And stop letting them get by on things because of our own personal agendas. Because the fact of the matter is, you know, I don't care who's being greedy for money. I don't care none of that stuff. And I don't really believe that to be that true. But even if so, it does not give him, how do you sleep at night knowing you're a grown ass man treating these little young women a certain way for sex? He had one girl who was completely a girl, where he had her shave off her hair and do all this boy shit because he was kind of like into like either, you know, the rough kind of looking girl type stuff, whatever, or little boys or whatever. I don't know, but I guess he could have had a young boy if he wanted to, but whatever. He was withholding their phones and telling them and putting in their minds that their parents were jealous of them. That's a whole what do you call it? That is I forget the word that I'm thinking of. But that is you setting up a whole agenda on how you're going to get these girls to believe what you're saying and to listen to you and to be scared to do otherwise. Why weren't they free to do what they wanted to do? You had all of these people in security who were to assist these young girls wherever they needed to go, like guard dogs. If the relationship was mutual and consensual, then why couldn't they go and come as they freely choose to? Because the one common thing that we have is that none of them were able to contact or be in contact with their families. Now that's master manipulation, control, obsession, 101. Okay? So how does that work? If you want to believe everything else. I'm sorry I'm eating this Friday night. Who out there with me? Is anybody out there with me? I know one girl left. Oh, that was the girl I was talking to. Is there anybody out there? Well, I'm about to end this live soon. But I'll stick around for a couple more minutes to see if anybody slides through. Hello, hello, hello. It's Teatime. I'm eating, waiting for some viewers to have this discussion about young girls dating older men. If you're sticking by, tell me your thoughts on the topic. Hi, Johnson. I'm guessing Friday is not the night. Well, I'm out of here. Peace out. I am still tired. And I will join my husband. And I might see you guys tomorrow to continue the conversation. Peace out.